Hey guys, it's Foxdrop here with a video on Stonewall's tier list. He released a new tier list. This is the Quinn era tier list. I did a video before on the Thresh era tier list and it was received fairly well, so I thought I'd do another one. First off, I want to say is the links will be in the description if you want to check this page out yourself. It will be in the description, and I do recommend you do that because there's a lot of good information on this page. And Stonewall is a wise guy, so it's always good to soak up what he does, what he says. He's a good theory crafter, so much better than me in that regard. I suggest you take a look at it. Also, a second thing, I'm not calling Stonewall out. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not disagreeing with a lot of his opinions. I'm just this tier list is his opinion, and I'm going to give my opinion, my take on it. I thought you guys might appreciate just my insights, but I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm not calling him out on anything. So let's jump right into the tier list. So tier 1 and tier 2 are pretty much the same. Tier 1 is just like really good junglers, and tier 2 are just really good junglers. Like, they're pretty much the same tier, so don't get too worried if some things are in tier 2 when you think they should be in tier 1. So right here, I'm not going to read this out because it will be in the description. You can take a look at it yourself. The only surprise for tier 1, well, I'll start off by saying Taric, because I don't disagree. I think Taric is a tier 1 jungler because of the new buffs, and it's really surprising. It's only surprising to see Taric here because, you know, it's Taric. I mean, he's a support player, and in one buff, like one change, Taric goes to a tier 1 jungler. It's really funny. And Stonewall makes a really good point talking about Taric's ganking power. He says it's a point and click stun. It's pretty standard that junglers shouldn't be allowed to have that, and it's, you know, I can't disagree with him. I mean, you compare Taric to like Elise, Taric's E to Elise's E. Elise has a skill shot which can be blocked by minions. Taric, you click, they're stunned, and you do a bit of damage as well. So, you know, Taric tier 1, yeah, I'm not surprised by that. And Cho'Gath is the only surprise here, in my opinion. The only person who's in tier 1 that doesn't deserve to be here is, well, possibly doesn't deserve to be here is Cho'Gath. I still thought he was a really good jungler after his recent nerfs, but in the IEM World Championship which recently happened, a lot of the top teams, you know, a lot of the Korean teams, top EU teams, they're all there, and no one picked or banned Cho'Gath, which was really surprising for me. They just didn't contest him, they didn't want anything to do with him, and I find that really surprising. But at the end of the day, if that's the case, does he really deserve to be in tier 1? And I would say probably not. I would put him in tier 2. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in tier 2. But that's just my opinion. I would take him out of tier 1 and put him in tier 2. He's still a good jungler. He's definitely still a good jungler, but I would not. I don't know. I would say it's probably safer to have him in tier 2. That's my opinion. So moving on to tier 2. Anything surprising here? I would say there are 3 big ones. Or is that 4? Riven, I would say, I would just not put Riven in here. I think she's just tier 3. There's not really much to say about that. I just don't really think she deserves to be in tier 2. I don't think she's as good as like Volibear or Nocturne or Xin Zhao or Shaco or Trundle. I just don't think she deserves to be here. Kayle could probably be a tier 1 as well, just because even though she got nerfed recently, she was still the most contested pick in this recent tournament that I mentioned before. Most bans, most picks. She's still really good. And she got nerfed, but her utility got buffed as well, like the Sona Q and stuff like that, and the missile speed got buffed too, so she's still a really good pick. And Skarner, Malphite, and Shen were the 3 others outside of Riven, which I was slightly surprised with. Skarner is less surprising because he is really good. Like, considering how bad Skarner is now compared to what he used to be, it really makes you realize how good Skarner used to be. Considering he was just like god tier, he was utter god tier. He was so good in the jungle, and he's still tier 2, you know, compared. And he's a shadow of his former self kind of thing. But yeah, you know what? I'm not going to disagree. I think Skarner deserves to be in tier 2. Malphite, however, I would say maybe tier 3, but tier 2 is fine as well. He's just not played as much. Again, he was hurt by the jungle changes, and he's just not what he used to be. And the only reason why I wouldn't have Shen in tier 2, because Shen is just, I mean, as far as actual jungling goes, I really don't like Shen because he's got good sustain with his Q, and he's got a shield with his W, and he's got decent ganks with his E, so yeah, I suppose this is why he's in tier 2, you know, those 3 things. But he is so slow. I mean, he is so slow at jungling, like really slow, and it's just painful. It really is painful to jungle with Shen. And the only reason why Shen is so popular is because of his ultimate. And his ultimate is not as good in solo queue as people think it is. People pick Shen because they're like, oh, Shen's open, I'm going to play Shen. They pick him, they don't know how to play him, and they suck with him. You really need to, and Shen's ult is just a lot better in competitive play, in team play, than it is in solo queue. Why? Because to make use of Shen's ult as best as you can, it's the same with teleport. You need to be doing proactive things. You need to be orchestrating stuff around these TPs, around Shen's ult. You need to be thinking, well, we've got Shen's ult up, let's go do this. We've got TP up, let's go do this. In solo queue, the only way you use TP, the only way you use Shen ult is reactively. So your guy gets in trouble, oh, Shen ult him. And it's not as effective that way. It's nowhere near as strong as it is when it's used in team play, which is why I don't really like Shen in general as a pick in solo queue as far as jungling goes as well, because he's too slow. But a good Shen, I mean, at really high elo, Shen still works and stuff like that. I mean, if you're good with his ult and like you're good with TP in general, then yeah, sure, take those stuff. But it doesn't work in solo queue. Like, it really isn't as good as it's hyped up to be. In theory, it's cool, but it's not really in practice. So in tier 3, the only stuff which I would move out of here. In fact, I probably wouldn't move anything out of here. In competitive play, Nasus probably deserves to be a bit higher because he's played a lot more than a lot of these other stuff are that are in tier 2 and even in tier 1. But I'm not going to disagree with putting him in tier 3. And Fiddlesticks, as far as solo queue goes, he's really similar to Shaco. Really similar to Shaco, as in he'll always be very good at solo queue but not very good in competitive play. They're basically very similar champions in that regard. Tier 4, the only person I'd move out of here, okay, there are two people I'd move out of here, Rammus and Sejuani. Rammus deserves to be in tier 3 in my opinion, just because I don't think he gets enough love. I mean, he's really good at ganking, he's good at movability, he's pretty good as far as teamfight goes. I mean, his taunt is crazy strong, really strong, and he's actually pretty fast at jungling too, so I would put him out at tier 4. I don't think people are giving Rammus enough love. I think he's better than that. And Sejuani, again, Sejuani's been hated on since her release, but I've never thought she was trash tier. She's not as good as other junglers, that's for sure, but I don't think she's tier 4. I think she can be tier 3, and her ultimate is probably one of the best ultimates in the game, like, without a doubt. That's such a strong ultimate, it's crazy. And with Leandra's Torment, you do so much damage, so yeah, I would probably put her in tier 3. Now, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about as far as this tier list goes. Again, the link will be in the description, and I'm not hating on Stonewall, he's a good guy, he knows what he's talking about. So I recommend you take a look at this. That's all I really want to say about it though, so thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in my next video.